What is up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. Today we are going to be talking about the Denver Broncos and why I believe they have a chance to be the breakout team of 2020, right? So I am not going to focus too much on the defense. I believe Vic Fangio, the head coach, and that defense is locked down. I think they're going to be really good in the 2020 season. But what I'm going to focus on in this video is the offense and why I think they're going to make some huge improvements. Please consider subscribing to the channel and giving me a like. Also, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the Denver Broncos and their chances in 2020. And let me know if there's any other film review videos that you would like me to do. All right, guys, let's get started. So let's get started, and with this video I am going to focus on the positive, right? Drew Locke only played 5 games last year, and he was a rookie and kind of not the best situation. So I want to look at all the things that I see from his game that make me think that he's going to have a huge step forward in the 2020 season, right? And this is the first thing that I do want to talk about. With right here, you're going to see Noah Fant running a little bit of a post route, and you'll see Drew Locke understand this play very quickly and understand that this is a great shot over the middle. And while it wasn't the perfectly placed ball that maybe you'd love to see, the rocket arm and just the trust in his abilities made this play a touchdown, right? So you'll see this safety cheating to the right here. You see Noah Fant get off the press coverage, and Drew Locke just throw an absolute rocket down the middle for a touchdown, right? And granted, you know, this isn't the most beautiful play in the world, right? You'd like to see this ball placement maybe a little bit more to the outside, give Noah Fant a chance. But at the same time, this was a good placement, and it was just an absolute rocket. And the corner that's guarding Noah Fant has absolutely no chance to turn around and make a play on the ball, thus a touchdown, right? So that's just a great play, and it just shows the absolute rocket that he has for a right arm. And here you're going to see a couple things I really like, and a couple things that I think maybe could use some improvement. You see kind of a sloppy drop. I mean, his mechanics are not perfect, right? It's just kind of a sloppy step back, and get this deep ball. You can kind of tell that this was a design play where they wanted to take a shot here. One thing about Drew Locke I'm going to bring up a little bit later, so I'm not going to focus on it too much, is he's a little bit of stone-footed in the pocket. He has great scrambling ability, but his pocket presence could be maybe a little bit better. But overall, I like his ability to throw the ball under pressure when the pocket isn't perfect, and gets the ball out deep down the sideline to his receiver. And you'll see, again, the placement isn't perfect. Could it be a little bit better? Yes, the ball could be out there just a little bit more, but that's kind of splitting hairs. I mean, he throws it in the perfect spot where where the corner or the safety have no chance of getting the ball, right? Ball's caught right here, right between the corner and the safety on a rope, down the field, 50 yards down the field. Would I like the ball 2 or 3 yards out in front of the receiver? Yes, I would. But I mean, this is still an incredible throw when he's throwing under pressure from the pocket, right? So you have to absolutely love that. And that just shows the upside of Drew Locke. So you're going to see right here the just great scrambling ability from Drew Locke. You're going to see the center just absolutely whiff. I don't know what he was thinking here. I don't understand why he doesn't block this linebacker. I don't know. The linebacker does take a little bit of a false step right here, and maybe the center just doesn't think that he's going to go. But I mean, he goes, he blitz, and he gets a free release at Drew Locke, and Drew Locke has to make a play very, very quickly, and he does just that. Gets outside and is able to make a somewhat accurate throw on the run in the snow. So yeah, it's a little bit behind the receiver. I have no problem with that at all, because I mean, he's doing everything he can just to stay alive and get the ball to his receiver. You gotta love that. And that just makes me very excited. Here you're going to see another example of him just able to evade pressure, evade trouble. There's a cornerback blitz right here. Philip Lindsay isn't really able to do a whole lot about it, and you'll see the Drew Locke has the pocket absolutely crashing down on him, and he has to make a play. Now, granted, he gets caught from behind by a corner who should be much faster than this quarterback who, while can scramble and is a little bit mobile, is not going to be making a career with his legs. That's not what he's going to be able to do. So I have no problem with the fact that he gets caught back by, I think that's Honey Badger, actually. I called it a corner blitz earlier. I apologize. It was technically a safety blitz. Anyway, he gets caught from behind, but he's still able to get 2 or 3 yards on that play. So all in all, positive play for what could have been a sack and negative 5 to 10 yards. So you got to love that. And here we're going to talk about his ability to stand in the pocket and throw under pressure, right? So this is a levels concept, and I know you can't see it from this angle. It doesn't really matter. It's a very simple levels concept. Courtland Sutton is streaking down the field. You'll see Noah Fant trying to make some space in that intermediate play, and then Philip Lindsay right here is going to run into the flats. And the thing with a levels concept, you go from back to front. So Courtland Sutton is the first read, Noah Fant is the second read, and Philip Lindsay is the third read here. So you'll see there's kind of he's under pressure. He has to get it off to his intermediate target, Noah Fant, and is able to throw the ball accurately under pressure. And I absolutely love that about him. Just the upside from that perspective is just so real. And then bonus points for Noah Fant being able to break a tackle and streak down the field as well makes his quarterback look even a little bit better on the stat sheet. So you gotta love that. But again, I just want to show this play, kind of a well-designed play here. Looks like a run all the way from the way the offensive line is blocking and everything, and it's smart. You kind of cut the field in half for a quarterback here. He only has to make 3 reads. I mean, it's a smart play for a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience in the NFL, but talent is able to shine through as well. He has to get this ball off a little bit sooner than he'd probably like to, and he does that by throwing an accurate pass to Noah Fant, and Noah Fant's able to make the absolute most out of it. So you gotta love things like that. And here I'm going to show again throwing under pressure and a little bit of timing and anticipation. You're going to see a little bit of a delayed blitz here from the linebacker here. I believe he had the tight end. The tight end stays into block, so the corner goes and blitzes, and it ends up being a free release, which was kind of a problem for the Broncos offense last year. A lot of free releases. I liked aspects of the offense. I think the reason the Broncos moved on from Rick Scangarello last year was because, as interesting as the offense was and some of the aspects were really good, there's just too many plays like this where there's a free release on the quarterback. It's just sloppy, and Pat Shurmur's not going to let that happen. This is an experienced OC, but Drew Locke is able to make the most out of it here and throw a ball with timing and anticipation down the field to this H-back tight end type of guy down here who blocks a lot for the Broncos as well. It's a really good kind of utility player for them. If a quarterback can't throw the ball with a guy in his face, he's not going to get a lot better at it. Drew Locke has that, and that's just a huge thing for me. I already showed you he has the scrambling ability. I think he has a really strong arm, strong, powerful arm. Accuracy is a small issue for me, and I've shown you points where he could have been a little bit better. It wasn't perfect placement, but he gets the job done. I think he is on par with other NFL quarterbacks in that regard. The big thing that I'm going to talk about that I do think he needs to work on this offseason, that I think has to change if he wants to take that next step, he gets stone-footed in the pocket. Now his drop and his mechanics with his feet aren't beautiful. It's not something I really worry about. One, if the offensive coordinator really cares about that aspect of the quarterback play, you can coach that into somebody pretty easily. I have no doubt that a professional athlete can figure out where his feet are supposed to be and things like that. That's something that can improve with time, and I'm not worried about that very much. And to be honest, you look at guys like Tom Brady and Drew Brees, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you get to your spot or how you get to your drop, as long as you get there and you throw the ball accurately. Who really cares, right? So that's kind of my take on that aspect of it. But the more important thing is pocket presence, ability to feel pressure, ability to maneuver the pocket without truly scrambling. I do think he's a very good scrambler. I already showed that. But this right here is just kind of a microcosm of the issue, right? Does not feel the pressure, does not maneuver the pocket. I mean, there's a lot of room in this pocket. He can get away from this type of play and get positive yards on this play, and yet he just doesn't. He doesn't move. That's something that's going to need to be fixed. I showed it a little bit in a clip earlier of the deep ball down the sideline, where he kind of didn't do a whole lot to evade the pressure. Again, I mean, he just doesn't move around the pocket the way I'd probably like for him to. I think that's something that can be worked on. It's something that can be fixed. I don't think it's the end of the world, but I do think it's something that he does need to get fixed if he wants to really make that next step into the NFL. And the next thing I want to do is focus on the running game. I only have one clip here for Philip Lindsay. Obviously, Philip Lindsay is going to be a big part of that offense. I expect a 50-50 split between Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. I think that's kind of what to expect for this team. But Philip Lindsay, we kind of already know what we have, right? A scat back who's very good in tight spaces, very good, at finding the holes, and really, really good in space as well. Like right here, you're going to see him have space. I mean, 4 blockers for four defenders here, and is able to make some good yards here. Things end up breaking down. The linebacker is able to get off his block and has a shot at Philip Lindsay, but there's just too much space here. Philip Lindsay is not going to get beat in a one-on-one situation right there. Is able to maneuver through and get 12 or 13 yards. That's what you get from Philip Lindsay. Philip Lindsay is a very, very good football player, steal for the Broncos, and he's going to keep doing that. I see no reason why there would be any decline there. I think if anything, he's only going to improve because of the added talent on this offense. The real issue for the Broncos running game last season was Royce Freeman. Royce Freeman was not a particularly good running back, and I hate to say that, but he's not a guy who is going to get you any more than what's blocked, and sometimes not even that. I look at a guy who doesn't explode through holes very well, doesn't evade blockers very well at all, is not necessarily a power running back either. I just don't see a guy who's really hit at the NFL levels yet, and I think he is going to be replaced by a Melvin Gordon. And really what I want to do in this part of the video is just show what Melvin Gordon is going to bring to the table, and why it's going to be better than what Royce Freeman has brought to the table over the past 2 seasons. And really what Melvin Gordon brings that Royce Freeman doesn't is just a little bit of explosiveness. Now, I don't think it's to the level that it was a couple years ago. You're going to see right here him explode through the hole right now. He's not what he was 3 years ago, and that's just so sad to say because of the economy of the running back position. Just these guys don't last as long as you maybe like them to. That's just unfortunate, but he's still a good running back. He's still going to add a lot of value to the team, right? Here you're going to see Royce Freeman. There's room here. There were things to be had. As Melvin Gordon is going to get 5 yards on a play like this, right? Royce Freeman doesn't really hit the hole, I don't think see the hole or see any hole, and just gets caught for a 2-yard gain, if that. Just gets bottled up there. And when you compare that type of play to a Melvin Gordon who is able to do a lot in space, able to make plays, I think it's just a huge upgrade for the Chargers. And here, this is the big difference, right? Again, you just see the explosion. Now, no, and I've said it a couple times already, this is not what it used to be. If I was looking at Melvin Gordon in a bottle and just saying, man, just basing on what I've seen before from him, I would be a little bit disappointed about a play like this, right? I would want to see more explosiveness. I would want to see him explode through the hole a little bit more. You'll see on this play, Melvin Gordon basically has 2 options, right? He has this choice of holes. The double team on this D tackle leaves essentially an A gap and a B gap wide open, and that's technically a C gap, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. 2 gaps wide open, and this linebacker is in a situation where he can't really be right. He has to sit here and wait for Melvin Gordon to make a decision and then tackle. So, and that's exactly what he does. Melvin Gordon makes his decision. I think a younger Melvin Gordon probably takes this ball to the 50-yard line, and this Melvin Gordon takes it to the 47, 48-yard line. That's the difference I think we're talking about. It's not a lot, just a little bit of explosiveness, just right there. I would like to see a little bit more power, a little bit more explosiveness off that back foot, off that right foot. foot right there. But when you compare it to a Royce Freeman, I think it is significantly different. It's significantly better. And I think they're getting a huge upgrade at the position. And now I do want to talk about the wide receiver position. I am not going to talk about Noah Fant. He is a good pass catcher, and he is going to have a role on this Broncos offense in 2020. But really, what I'm going to talk about are the wide receivers and the big three. Courtland Sutton is already on this team. And then we're going to talk about the two that were drafted in the 2020 draft. Courtland Sutton is right here lined up against Darius Slay. You're going to see Courtland Sutton, just big man, Darius Slay a little bit on a post route and kind of go up and get the ball. That's what he does. He reminds me so much of a Brandon Marshall. He really does. That's the type of player that Courtland Sutton is. He's just a younger version of Brandon Marshall, in my opinion. Brandon Marshall might have a little bit more speed on him, but Courtland Sutton is very explosive as well. He's a go up and get it guy, not afraid to go over the middle. Has a lot of his production over the middle last season, and you're going to see right here, this is a screen pass to Courtland Sutton in his own end zone, and he's able to take that and turn it into a 25-30 yard gain. Runs through a tackler, carries another one for another 5 or 6 yards, things like that. He's so good with the ball in his hands. He's so good at going up and catching the ball, and he's just a complete receiver. I really believe that the addition of the other receivers on this team that we're going to talk about in a second is only going to help Courtland Sutton, because Courtland Sutton is an insanely good player, and he's shown it. I think he had a little bit of a breakout season last year, and I think this year is just another opportunity to do that. And really, the only thing this team is missing is just the explosiveness. Courtland Sutton definitely has some wheels and can make a lot of plays, but he doesn't have that true explosive ability that you like to see. Well, they add two of the more explosive players in the draft. Of course, Jerry Jeudy, the first thing I'm going to talk about with Jerry Jeudy is his route running. And right there, just so beautiful, so smooth. Right here, I mean, just ridiculous, just absolutely ridiculous. I think he's going to come in and be a difference maker right away. And while Jerry Jeudy, I don't think was heralded for his speed, he still has legit wheels. I mean, he can still take a slant to the house. I think that's the big thing for what the Broncos were looking for, and that's what he does in this play, and that's what he's going to do at the NFL level. Just because he was overshadowed by Henry Ruggs, who ran a 4.27, I believe, Jerry Jeudy was still in the 4.4s. I mean, he's still really, really fast. The other explosive option that they added to their team in the second round was KJ Hamler. And while I didn't have a great grade on him coming into the draft, I did recognize that he has game-breaking speed, and that's the type of thing that makes you a very early pick. Even if you are a one-trick pony, that trick is very, very good, especially for a team that does play, like I said, Tyreek Hill and McCall Hardman twice a year. And when you look at a guy like Drew Locke, who's going to make defenses defend every blade of grass, it just makes so much more sense that you would want guys that have this game-breaking speed, game-breaking explosiveness, that can do things like this against the defenses. It just adds a whole nother element to your offense that you don't get without these type of players. And then Drew Locke is just going to complement them so well. And I really do try to avoid over-emphasizing the rookie picks that are coming in for the first year. It's never surprising when guys take a year or two to develop. Things like that just happen. And I get that when you look at Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, they may not have as big of an impact that I'm thinking they will. But I think at the end of the day, we know that they're going to make defenses defend the Broncos offense differently. When you have a guy like KJ Hamler who has legit game-breaking speed, you're going to have to defend him a little bit differently. When you have a guy like Jerry Jeudy who has such crisp route running and is so explosive, you're going to have to account for that a little bit differently. It's going to make defenses change the way they attack this Broncos offense. Now, a lot of things have changed, and it's really hard to project things like that, but I really do expect Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton to be an awesome 1-2 duo. And while KJ Hamler may end up being the wide receiver for this year, it would not surprise me a bit if Deshaun Hamilton ends up getting that wide receiver 3 job over KJ Hamler. I do think KJ Hamler is going to have packages where he is asked to stretch the field and make life hard on the defense. Whether or not that ball is ever thrown to him, it doesn't matter. The having to account for that type of speed, it changes the defense and it allows the offense to do more things. All in all, this is an offense that is going to be improved at every single level. I 100% expect Drew Locke to have a huge step forward in the 2020 season. I think the running game is going to be better with Melvin Gordon being a part of it, and I think that Jeudy and KJ Hamler add another element to this receiving core that they were just missing in 2019. This Broncos team has the opportunity to be a huge breakout contender, and while they do have to play the Chiefs twice a year, it would not surprise me a bit if the Broncos are neck and neck with the Chiefs right down to the end, competing for that division title. I really believe that is the ceiling for this Denver Broncos team.